Hey, what's up? I didn't win next hacks. That's unfortunate. I didn't place or anything like that. I think the truth of the matter is I just lack finish. I think that's something I can identify in a lot of the stuff I do, whether it be with leadership, ambition, projects, or just anything in general. I can do great bursts. I can do great starts. But when it comes to finishing, I don't know what happens. It's just like maybe I have nothing left in the tank. Maybe it's just like I feel too confident. Like I don't know what happens there, but I think lack of finish is really what does affect me in a lot of scenarios, even with these interviews I've had recently, where, in my opinion, I did not do as well because lack of finish. But yeah, like even with this one, just to be frank, I what happened was I stayed up like the whole time, 24 hours, or even 20. No, yeah, I think around 24 hours. Actually, Mark, I woke up early because I thought I was gonna leave earlier. But anyway, I stayed up the whole time. Barely had food, and then it was like, "Oh, wrap up the hackathon. You have like an hour left." I was like, "Okay, I have an hour left. I'm gonna play around. I'm gonna try and add a new feature, which was meant to be a 3D game, because I really thought 3D was the best way to kind of visualize the impact of this whole infinite game property or infinite game idea." So I was working on that. Like, okay, if I send the video, that'd be awesome. So I forgot. I kind of left everything malnourished. I left the blog post, the description, everything. I was like, that really doesn't matter. Did not get the 3D thing done. Went to do the dev post like last minute because having like a successful run without any errors to record that and to upload on YouTube, that was taking a long time because that's something else I have to do. Um, and that blog post, that dev post, actually became much more important later on because what was implied was that even though like some people that have maybe two, some people had one, a lot of the judging was based off like them just scouring the dev post, which I didn't think of in my head because usually I was used to like people just come like they interview or just ask about a thing. That's like the basis of it. Like I never really saw dev post as something that mattered. So a lot of stuff I had in the project and not putting the dev post. I was like, this is like I thought dev post was just like archives and all that. That wasn't the case. That's obviously my bad. I think I don't know if I'll have changed the outcome. I think I was looking at the projects, some of them and they were really good. I think they're really great ideas. I think they actually kind of address another point I want to get into. There was a guest speaker who was making a lot of great points, but I think one of the best points he made um was impact, right? The impact of like your hackathon project. Because even though it's like intuitive to like, okay, you build something that people can actually use, you kind of get lost in when you actually have an idea. So like even with this now, I obviously knew like there was some impacts here and there, but then even when I got interviewed, like what are the impacts? Like yeah, it can like help teach people. I obviously went more into depth about the personalization and all of that, but like that's not something that was really on my mind. It wasn't I tried to think about it, but it just never really interested me in that sense. And in my head, I'm kind of stuck in a situation where it's like, okay, the reason impact matters, to be frank, to a lot of people is really because it's a product at the end of the day. People have to buy this thing, people have to invest money, right? So that's why the whole idea of like, would someone buy this thing is the big question. But for me, it's like, okay, is because that's true. I think that's something I should have considered more, especially for a hackathon that's very much a startup focused. But I also think um, a small part of me, not a big part, a small part of me is stuck on this idea of if that like provides the value in the product in the build thing in itself, right? Because then it it does kind of right because when you build something, you still, like obviously you're going to sell it, obviously you're going to like give it out to people, and you want to make money off it. That's what a lot of people want to do. So I don't think it's I think it'll be silly for me to like, oh, it doesn't really matter if people want it or not. I think that's something where even like even now, like I want to say that's something I should have taken more into account, but I really just did not care that much. I just thought the idea was cool and I wanted to build it. I think it's I was even thinking about it now. I was even defending my idea and that it's an idea where it's like okay, if you have a personalized game that's catered towards you, like that's something that humanity has always wanted for a while now. Like just be able to create a world that does not exist. Right. I think that's why I was like so excited. I was even thinking about like, oh, what do like 9 other billion people want in this thing? And maybe that's something I should do for future hackathons. But I also think I'm in a weird situation right now. Um, I know I'm saying a lot. I'm in a weird I'm in a weird situation in the sense that I really really want to do one thing, and besides, I have no other interest, right? And it's weird to me, like even with the hackathon, something you're really meant to do with hackathons is you're meant to network, you're meant to go to the workshops, the career stuff. Because like really, if you lose, then it's like okay, you lose, you get some experience. But if you're able to do that on top of losing, you actually probably got more than you would winning, and you just talk to no one. But my head is like I want to spend the whole time just building. And I did talk to people here and there, but like in my head, even now if I went it back, I would probably do the same thing. I don't know if it's just I'm a lack of seeing the big picture. Like if this is gonna be something I regret in the future, I don't know. It's just like I just really want to like do this one thing. I really had to like leave the whole reason I went to this hackathon. The whole reason I shifted my reason in December. The whole reason I went to this hackathon was just to work on that one idea. So like anything beyond that was not in, like an interest of mine. Even when I was looking at the hackathon projects, as amazing as they were, I think there's a lot of stuff I can learn from them. I was like, okay, so would I do this for the next hackathon I go to? I was like, I'm not interested in that technology itself. I really, really want to win with the idea I have, or maybe something adjacent, something sequential to the idea. Uh, I think it worries me because I think it's. I can obviously see like I can see the consequences, but I just don't care. I don't know if that's if I say I don't care and I see the consequences like later on. Personally, I think that's gonna suck. But I understand the consequences of that philosophy. I understand it, but it's just like I really want to do this one thing. I really really want to do this one thing, and I really really hope it pays off in some way. Um, I don't know. I think I really have to lock in with that. I think there's obviously some improvement I can do with the finishing stuff. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. With this thing now, though, it's something where I think I have to talk to more people. I think that's another great point. I don't know if I was even listening to or talking to it that said that I was like, you just have to. I think it was the first speaker. You just have to like talk to a billion people to really extract insight. I think that's something I've yet to do, especially as I try to go more into research into this field of spatial intelligence and world models, which I really didn't get to. I didn't really get to build a world model. In the sense, it's a kind of a user model in that it makes a just for some context, it's basically this infinite game. It has multiple variations of what you can create. Like it could be a platform, it could be like a quiz, Kahoot style thing. It could be like a drone thing, wherever you want, kind of like with limitations. Um, and because that's the case, it can take your insight about like topics you're good at. 'Cause it can like, okay, let's do calculus and platformers and stuff like that. It can really extract insight from you, and it can build like a user model of yourself. It's like, okay, this person's good at this. This person sucks at like fast paced things. They're really good at these skills. Blah blah blah. So that's kind of what I built, not necessarily a world model. What I tried to do at the end was like I obviously add some prediction into it to make it more impressive and interesting. Where the user model based on the data will kind of would predict how you would score on the next assessment, and through that it'll be able to assess you better and be like, okay, I know how to adjust the difficulty of the task because the user model really was the kind of like the brain, the context of the whole system. So be able to say, okay, let's reduce this difficulty of this upcoming game. So that was really interesting. It wasn't a world model per se. Maybe if you're going to like if you don't care too much about semantics, which was like a good 2 hours of my time of the hackathon was really just arguing with ChatGPT and Claude about semantics. And I think that's like a terrible thing. Just as a person, and I like technical, it's just a terrible thing. It just doesn't make sense. I think I was just so fixated on that, and I still am. Okay, I really want to do something cool there. Um, if I say, oh my god, I'm going to be so annoyed. But I think something else that was cool. No, it wasn't cool. Something I wanted to complain about was Claude. I think Claude's a great mod. I think it's one of my favorite mods. I'm still going to continue using Claude, but I don't know why. But for the last 24 hours, Claude's been like the worst thing ever. Like I kid you not, Claude, like Claude Sonnet, I know Claude Opus, right? Claude Opus was literally like it felt like an age mate in that sense. Where it's like we are just like talking to one another, like, oh yeah, I guess we could try doing this. We could try doing this. I don't know. What do you think? It was bad. It was so bad. I don't know what happened. I literally had to like check a bunch of times to see if I was still using the right model. But I don't know. I think I don't think it impacted the hackathon. I think I had all the time I needed for the hackathon, regardless of how Claude was performing. But I do think it makes me want to make sure I'm less dependent. Like experiences like that really do show that you can't be too dependent on these systems. Where it's like, okay, it can just like it could just be have a bad day or some day. So maybe I'm just bad at steering these systems. Maybe I'm just a bad prompt engineer or whatever. But I do think it's a good point. I should look more personally into like understanding these stuff at its core. I said again, but I think if I did even know the Godot game engine, there would have been so much trouble. One of the things that helped a lot. I know this sounds silly to say because I'm the person in this situation, but one of the things that helped a lot was just my experience with Godot because Claude was going down a lot of rabbit holes. And I think it's a different type of pain to see a large language model go down a rabbit hole after you just watched it come off another rabbit hole. So I think if I wasn't like experienced with Godot right now, I could have actually right now I could still be working on some stupid thing where it's like, okay, you have to work on this parallax background or whatever. And it's a pretty simple fix if you just like go watch a video or just do the right thing. But then Claude just come up with a bunch of theories and like how this connected to you, or maybe the laptop is doing this, or maybe the system is doing this much. It's like you don't know what you're doing, right? It's not gonna say that often. So like sometimes I have to actually say like I literally straight up ask Claude, do you think you can do this task? You can say no, I'll do it myself. But do you think you can do this? Even that's very what's the word? It's anthropomorphized. It's not good. It's just not good. But it is what it is. Either way, hackathon is over. There's a lot of stuff I have to reflect on, have to extract, and just take forward as I go into the next couple of days of my life. But yeah, I'm excited. Besides that, though, I have nothing else to say. So have a great day.